And nowadays, a camera is old when it's about 5 years old, yeah. And this is not the kind of old I mean. And this camera that is shooting me right now, which you may guess in the comments below which camera this might be, is, well, even in regards to my opinion about cameras, kind of old. But I'm pretty sure that it will deliver fantastic images, as we will hopefully witness. So today I'm down here at the town where I live next to test this camera out with some different lenses. And well, maybe you can guess which camera this is. I wanted this camera when I was young, but of course I could not afford it. These cameras were pretty expensive when they first came out. Like the old Hasselblad H3, they cost about 35,000 euros for a camera. And now they're about 1,000. So, but this is pretty expensive for a camera. Almost no one needs this. And the pictures are not even that good. They do not have the medium format-like look. This lens right now is the Canon 18-55 f4 to f5.6 IS STM. And this camera should, in theory, focus with this camera pretty good. And I got some other lenses with me today to see what this camera looks like in this beautiful autumn light. A little bit harsh today, so I have to set the shot right. Otherwise we won't see anything. So let's go on and see what this camera can give us. And as a reminder, write in the comments below and guess the camera. And of course, like and subscribe. With this lens, I think the autofocus works pretty good. Even better than on the Panasonic S1, and I'm so harsh-litten. Yes, I am. The autofocus of this camera, even though it is a bit older than the Panasonic S1, works very good from what I've seen so far. And this camera will not be able to adapt E-mount lenses. I think Nikon is the only camera that can adapt E-mount lenses. But I hope it handles the exposure well today. I think I need some shade. With this camera and this lens, there is no need to focus on something. This will change when I mount some other lenses to that camera. But with this lens, the autofocus should work pretty good. From what I have seen so far, the autofocus is excellent. So we will see what we get today and how the colors look. Now I switch lenses to the Canon 50mm 1.4. And on that camera, it also looks amazing. Of course, the colors contribute a lot to that. I really enjoy that and enjoy the sounds these leaves make. I think it's the most beautiful season of the year. Most beautiful. I like every season, but this might be the most beautiful. What else is there to say about this camera? This camera has a 8-point-something megapixel sensor as a little hint. But the low light performance, well, still isn't that great. It's of course worse than on the Sony A7S. With this camera, you will get, well, let's say no stills at all. You would have to cut them out of the final video. So not much still photography there. But I think it's pretty versatile. Even though now I have to be well, a few meters away from the camera with the 51.4. This lens I normally use on my Canon 5D Mark II, but I can use it on this camera too. But now, let's see if there are some other lenses that might give a good image to make things a little bit confusing. What you see right now is the Nikon 50mm 1.4D lens on that camera. On the same camera that was before used with the Canon 50mm 1.4. Well, there are possibilities. They're not good, but it still kind of works. And because I almost always use manual lenses, this is a good alternative. So I can use Nikon glass on this camera too. Well, I'm not sure which look I like better. there are more good Nikon lenses than Canon lenses, I think. At least the Nikon lenses that are a little bit older. They're affordable and they're so good. The Canon lenses, they are a bit older, but for what they are not that affordable in my opinion. There are a few good Canon lenses like the Canon 50mm 1.2 or the 85 1.2, of course, all L lenses. But they are pretty expensive, even though they are 20 years old. This lens, well, it's pretty cheap. Well, not cheap, but let's call it affordable. So, which look did you like better? The 50 from Canon, the 50 from Nikon. And now, let's get into the 50mm focal, well, 50mm range with this camera. And let's mount the Nikon 35mm 1.8. So the 35mm 1.8 DX lens, it could look the best of all the lenses that we have seen so far. In my opinion, this is a pretty versatile lens for full frame and for APS-C cameras. And most people, they use it on their DX bodies, Nikon, DSLR, but it also is usable on full frame. This camera is not full frame, as you would have guessed by now. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Which camera is it, or which camera could it be? I will of course make a video about this camera in more detail with more footage and so on, but for now I just wanted to test it out because I just got it yesterday and it was dark already when I got it because it took over a week to arrive. Now it's there and now I want to try it out. So right now the look should be good. I'm filming in Canon C-Log, by the way. The grading should be easy. There is not that much to grade and I already seen the file sizes of this thing. They are so small. The Nikon ZF has small file sizes too. These files are so small compared to a Fuji or my Sony A6700. The files are pretty small. And I checked all the settings and I thought, well, maybe I did something wrong and I have less quality or what. No, but still small. That's good. It's easy to work with. So let's see the next and last lens for today. All right, this will be the last lens for this test today. That's the Helios 44-2. And since it got a 58mm focal length, we are now at about 85. Well, this is pretty far away from the camera now, but I think the look should be amazing. I'm of course not perfectly lit in here today. I could not use the spot I normally use for videos like that because it's too windy today. And down here in the valley, the wind is calm, but up there where I live or up there where I normally shoot, it's so windy. So it wouldn't be usable, I think, with the microphones. For the microphone, I did not use the internal microphone of the camera, of course. I used the Rode Wireless Me, but this camera has some pretty good stereo mic on top. Now you may know which camera it was today. Well, let me know. Let me know in the comments. And now, let's see if there is the possibility of one more shot before I head back home and see what the footage looked like. It's the first footage I ever did with this camera. I'm looking forward to it. This camera might actually be really capable of face-detect autofocus. Isn't it amazing? At least with the right lenses, this camera should be. You need a specific kind of lens for that, but if you got that lens, it might be usable. Better than on the Panasonic S1, and this is something that really bothers me, because it cannot be. This camera is way older than the Panasonic S1, and still better. Yeah, I know. I always talk about the Panasonic S1. And you know why. I like this camera and I want it to function so badly, but it might never happen. And with this being said, it would help me if you like and subscribe. Comment something about this camera. What do you think what this camera is? One love, and see you in the next video.